Yo, what is up, guys? And we are back for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, and just for a little while, I want to go ahead and talk about this Dokkan Now Volume 5. So, the last rendition of the Dokkan Now was right before Saiyan Day. That was the Volume 4, where of course they announced Int Broly. So, obviously, Int Broly, super good. Usually, all of the units they announce in the Dokkan Now are a couple of things. It's either Global first, or JP and Global at the same time. In this particular instance, I feel as though it's probably going to be JP and Global at the same time, although, I mean, it could be a Global first. I mean, you never know, right? And then, of course, the second thing is they're always really good. Even STR Blue Kaioken, that was the very first Dokkan Now, even he, at the time, was incredibly good, right? So, and he still has his place, right? But anyway, what I want to do in this video is, I guess, a little tiny bit of speculation. The thing is like, we really have no rightful idea. I think it's a pretty safe assumption that it's going to be GT themed, right? So I actually have pulled up every character with the GT link. So now a couple of things here. So I do not have the Super Saiyan GT Goku or the Super Saiyan GT Vegeta. I'll just throw that out there right now. So, but basically everyone else I have. So the thing about this, I literally have no idea. I literally have no idea. There's a lot of things that are going on here. So I think we have our GT hero leader. So if we look historically at Saiyan Day, or not Saiyan Day, excuse me, Goku Day, it has been a Saiyan, right? I mean, for the last couple of years at least anyway, right? So for the actual Goku Day proper, I think that was that 2019, we had LR Gohan and Goten, right? So they were a Dokkan Festival LR, followed, 2 weeks later by LR Tech Broly. Both of those were global first LRs. So really cool. And then last year, of course, we had LR UI Goku. So it's really tough to tell. The thing about GT is there's only so many Saiyans in GT, right? Basically, we have Goku and Vegeta, right? That's it. And then the fusions, right? So essentially, you know, Super Saiyan 4, Gogeta, and such. I would just go ahead and say right off the bat, I don't think that we would get the fusion card that we're all hoping for, right? The Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta dual card that then fuse into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you know, via an active skill or something like that. I don't think that would be the case. And again, I'm really leaning towards villain. So if we look at the villains, let's just go ahead and go extreme. So not too many options. Remember that we did just get a Shadow Dragons LR over on the JP side of the game. There could be credence to the idea that it is a global first, considering they do technically have a GT Bosses category leader. Global does not, so we won't be getting that round of Battlefield for quite a few months. It's going to be quite a while until we get that. So we have a few options here, right? So the number one option would be a new Big Daddy Omega, right? So just a brand spanking new Omega Shenron, but is he really going to drive the hype unless he's absolutely busted, which I would anticipate a new Omega Shenron being busted? I don't know, man. I don't really see this one being too likely. And then, of course, the other option would be a transforming Sin into Omega. That would also be a really good idea for a card, but I think that would come with the aforementioned card, so the Goku and Vegeta that fuses into Gogeta. I think that they would probably be a dual Dokkan Festival, and you could maybe even claim that would come during the worldwide download celebration. So it's really tough to tell, but when we look at villain type Saiyans, so if I think it's going to be a villain and I'm leaning towards it's going to be a Saiyan, there's only so many options, right? And I think that the one and only option is this guy, right? So Super Baby 2. But remember that this is the Giant Ape version, number 1. So let's go ahead and go to growth. So remember, he Dokkan Awakens from Super Baby 1. And then this guy Dokkan Awakens from just Baby Vegeta. I could easily see us getting a new Baby Vegeta. So a new Baby Vegeta or Super Baby 1. This guy is also Super Baby 1. I absolutely love this character design, by the way. He is absolutely just awesome. And then, of course, keeping in mind that we just got the baby adolescent version. That's actually going to be the next explosive chain battle coming up on the 23rd. Obviously, I didn't mention it in the very beginning of the video, but this Dokkan now is happening on the 18th. And I think the way that things are lined up, I think that we're going to have plenty of time for a global first or even another JP global, dual celebration, if you will, or part 2 of this celebration. So hold on, let me go to my calendar real quick. So if we look at the calendar, I think that the Dual Dokkan Festival banner, ends on this day, Monday the 24th. So I think basically immediately when that ends, we will be getting the next LR. I think this is assuredly going to be an LR if history proves anything, right? I think it is going to be a new LR. I think that at least for global, it does kind of make sense. I guess you could argue like, well, we've had a bunch of Dokkan Fests in a row, and that is true, right? I mean, we had Janemba and PyCon directly before this. Now, I don't think it'll be a dual Dokkan Fest, but I think there is a decent chance at least that it is a Dokkan Fest LR. So similar to Gohan and Goten as opposed to LR UI Goku, which this would bode well for everyone, considering it would be a lot easier to pull him, or whatever unit it is, right? If it's a dual unit or whatever, it would be a lot easier to pull the unit with only a 10 featured unit list of units to pull from, right? So I think that if it is a global first, it will be a Dokkan Festival LR. And if it is a dual celebration between JP and global, I think it would probably be a legendary summon LR. But I would not rule either one of them out. If you kind of like fork to my nose in a dark alley kind of thing, I would lean towards it's going to be a dual celebration JP global, and it's going to be a legendary summon, but I would not rule out the Dokkan Festival LR. I think there is a pretty good chance that could happen. So since we're here, we can kind of go ahead and check out the rest of the global schedule until we get to the anniversary, because there is one thing we do know for sure is that the anniversary is coming basically July 7th, and then maybe the Dual Dokkan Fest banner for the 6th year anniversary will come maybe a day or two after that. That is the one thing we can be sure of. But kind of moving on to the rest of the year, obviously it's going to make a lot of sense that a part 2 banner is going to drop here on the 24th. So if we look at just the rest of what's going on here, so usually starting on about the 7th-ish, 7th, 8th, 9th, sometime in that week, or maybe even the week after, we will start to get like some countdown stuff. So, basically the month preceding the anniversary. So right now we're in June. So, well, obviously right now we're in May, but on the calendar, we're here in June. So I think that it would make a lot of sense that we would get a banner, going until like the middle of the month, like this day, right? Let's just say like this Monday, for instance, whatever day it might be. And then right after that, I think we're going to have enough time to have have a Dokkan Fest. So have the Trunks and Goten banner or the Tapion banner. You could easily drop the Tapion banner like the week after. Like, why not at that point? Why not just drop the Tapion banner? Just to suck every last stone dry out of global players. Like, you might as well if you're Akatsuki, and then we can kind of get on with the rest of our lives after the anniversary. And then, of course, the anniversary falling sometime around this day, right? July 7th. So the rest of the quote-unquote, like the global year, like leading up to the anniversary is pretty well set, I would say. I think it's going to be very likely we get the Trunks and Goten Dokkan Fest banner. And we will also get the LR Tapion banner. That is my opinion, of course. That's just based on last year. That's exactly what they did last year. They dropped LR Vegeta and Nappa like just a couple weeks, maybe even less than 2 weeks before the Dual Dokkan Fest in July. So kind of jumping back to this right here. So I think that Baby is the choice here. I think that Baby is the choice. And I'll go ahead and put a little image on the screen. If you guys are not familiar with the Baby that is coming for the explosive chain battle. I'll go ahead and put an image right now. Future self, go ahead and put that image on the screen. So I think that he's a very, very good option because he is indeed a Saiyan, and he could indeed start. I'll be curious to see the sprite. If it's a new sprite, I think that would be a pretty good indication that it's going to be a new unit. I really do. The card art realistically means nothing, right? I mean, in the past, the card art has meant nothing, right? Whether it be God Goku or whether it be Broly or what have you, right? The card art hasn't made much of a difference. We do have an adolescent baby in the game. It's an SR int. I don't think I even have one in my box, so I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. I'm sure you've summoned him 1,000 million times, right? Y'all probably know who I'm talking about. So again, Super Baby 2, I think, is the clear choice here, and we do need a Dokkan Fest Baby. Baby is one of the last remaining villains, just in general, that does not have a Dokkan Fest. Kind of crazy, right? He doesn't have a Dokkan Fest after all these years. And honestly, he's pretty much, I think, other than Omega Shenron, he's pretty much the coolest villain. I mean, you could even argue the Baby Saga's maybe even a little bit better than the Shadow Dragon Saga. I think I probably would make that argument, except for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? I think that he makes that, I mean, just the Super Saiyan 4s in general just make GT good, right? At least make it entertaining. I don't want to say good, let's not go too crazy, but make it entertaining, right? So another thing to keep in mind, that, you know, something I don't know if anyone has talked about, but GT specifically was not received very well over in Japan. So you look at GT and what it does. The very first episode of GT, you completely undermine everything that has ever happened in Dragon Ball. Everything that Toriyama wrote, just completely undermined by the very first episode in GT when he is transformed into a child again, right? It just, sorry, spoiler alert if you've never seen GT. I hope that you have. Probably if you grew up and you were watching Dragon Ball, this is what was on, right? It was Dragon Ball GT. And then probably later you found Toonami, right? And you probably found Dragon Ball Z, the Ocean dub, right? Is probably what you found, right? But anyway, moving on. I don't really see who else it's going to be. I don't really see Omega Shenron. We just got this guy, Metarildo. Could it be him? I mean, maybe. It could be, I suppose. And for that matter, it could be Hyper Metarildo, right? It could be either one of those. Sure, it could be either one of those. I don't really see it being like GT Frieza or like GT Cell. I don't really see that. They were such a minuscule part of the show. That seems incredibly unlikely to me. And again, I'm really leaning towards Saiyan. Now, this guy, kind of interesting, right? So Hellfighter 17, I think he's just reversed. I think I do have all Duke paths open. Just in case I pull more copies, I can feed into SA, of course. Hellfighter 17, I think, would be a really, really solid choice. And maybe have an active skill to fuse into this guy, right? Into Super 17. I think that could be a solid choice as well. We certainly need a new Hellfighter 17. Or maybe even you give this guy an Easy A, something like that. And this is the only Super 17 in the entire game. So I think you can. There is, actually, I think I take that back. There is an SR that you can awaken into a Super 17. I'm almost certain of it. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I'm pretty sure you can. And then, you know, just other units here, I would not see a Nova Shenron being super likely. Even the super class version of Nova Shenron, I would not see being very likely. So this guy here. I don't think that that's incredibly likely. I don't really see, considering we just got any super class units, I really am. I can't completely put it off the table here, but like I don't see it, man. What are you gonna throw? Like, you gonna give Oob like the LR? You gonna give him a Dokkan Festival LR? I don't know about that. I just don't see. I don't really know, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I'm really leaning towards this guy, like some version of Baby. I think is clearly, he's the choice, right? I really think that he is the choice, and I think that he can have the hype. Is Oob, like, if they were going to choose, like, Oob or something like that, like, is he going to drive the hype? Is he going to drive the sales? I don't really know if that's true. Same thing with Hellfighter 17. Is Hellfighter 17 really, you know, is he really going to drive the sale? I don't know, man. I really don't know, but I don't think there's really any sense in carrying on this video much longer. I think I've pretty much given my opinion of what I think it's going to be. I'm leaning towards Legendary Summon, but I would certainly not rule out a Dokkan Fest LR. But I think assuredly it's going to be an LR. And obviously during the Dokkan now, there's going to be a lot of announcements of, like, you know, EZAs. Obviously, we know Global, we're going to be getting our EZAs, and JP will probably get a separate round of EZAs. Something like that will happen. And guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Dokkan Now Volume 5, 5/18/2021, 1800 Pacific Standard Time. So be there or be square. That's like a pretty common time, I feel like, they usually throw at us. So that is 6 p.m. Japan time. So you will have to do the math there for yourself, right? That's usually, I think that's usually about 3 a.m.-ish my time. But we will go ahead and see. Again, let me know in the comments below what you think. Slap a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.